All right, so I made it to some dirt. It's probably, I don't know, about 50 miles worth of dirt out here. It's terribly windy, so the audio might not be that great on this, but this is my 21 GS TE model, and taking it out for a solo cruise today. This is my first, it's got 1,000 miles on it, I think. I just had the first service done a couple days ago. Swapped out the tires, went away from the street tires, and I put on the Moto Z GPS tire in the rear, mounted in reverse, so the more aggressive off-road option. And then I went with the Moto Z. This is their new tire. I forgot what it's called. It's the Moto Z Tractionator DV. So it's a pretty aggressive front tire. I went with a more aggressive front tire than a rear tire. I just like how that feels. And I'll go through kind of quickly some of the mods I did to the bike when I got it. I put the Lone Rider headlight guard on it. It's really slick. It's a hinge system, so it's easy to clean. You can take it off real easy. I also did these Lone Rider little pouches that fit right in this cubby really well. Oh, the wind deflectors on the stock hand guards. SW Motec R risers, but I didn't really want them risen that much. Those are up and back, because the reach on this bike felt a little too long for me. Oh, and I put on this Alt Rider dual control brake lever. Awesome product, with the brake snake attached. Pivot pegs. I like pivot pegs for bigger adventure type bikes, so I put those on. I wired in my heated jacket that I'm wearing today. That works fantastic. What else can I say? These Tusk bags, very good, very inexpensive. I think they were 90 bucks. They work for me. I keep all my extra clothes in this one, and on the other side I keep all my tools. What else have I done to this bike? Oh, I had a friend of mine clear wrap, like 3M clear wrap the tank on the sides, the top part here, and also the whole beak area has been clear wrapped. And of course my phone mount. If anyone doesn't know, this bike has heated seats, heated grips, which are great and fantastic. And I kind of go through a couple things. Oh, I also put fork protection on, just because I like, you know, protect the forks, and also they're black and that looks kind of cool. So there's upper and lower fork guards. I am going to put a skid plate on it, and I'm probably going to put crash bars on it, lower engine bars, as soon as the Alt Rider bars come back in stock. And I can say this is a really, it's a really unique bike. I've never had a BMW. I've had a lot of KTMs, I've had a lot of Triumphs. This bike is quite unique. It's a fantastic road bike. I mean, it's very sporty, super fun on the road. And as far as dirt goes, I've ridden a couple hundred miles on dirt with street tires, and it's surprisingly good. Not as exciting and as feisty as my KTM 890, but it has more of a feeling of like it's going to take care of you. Like it's more comfortable, it's more secure feeling. This bike has incredible low speed balance. Like low speed maneuverability on this bike is amazing. The best I've ever ridden. Super easy to ride at low speed. The clutch has a really good friction point, so if you want to ride the clutch or use the clutch, you know, it's very, very usable. Another great thing about this bike is you can rev it, you can let the RPMs fall all the way down to like 1500 and the bike will not stall. It's like a diesel tractor. Very common to be in like third gear, and you can be going 10 miles an hour and the bike just chugs along. So it's really good. The telelever suspension, also really unique feeling, but really good. It's super supportive on the road. I think it's better on the road than it is off-road. You know, with this bike, people think, and I was intimidated too when I got it, because I'm a small guy. I'm only 140 pounds and I'm 5'10", and I was like, wow, this is a monstrosity of a bike. But within 5 minutes of riding this bike, I was like, oh, this bike is great. It rides super light, it balances itself, and I've had it on some pretty tough, like double track Jeep roads, and that was with street tires. And it's great. It's easy to ride. Totally different beast than a KTM. KTM's are very feisty feeling. The motor develops power, and it's kind of just like a hoodlum type bike. And this bike doesn't feel that way. This bike is fast, it's got plenty of power, but it's more like a diesel truck. It just chugs along. It doesn't feel fast, although you're moving at quite a good clip. But anyway, enough chit chat. Oh, and the big gripe I have with this bike, there's one gripe that I really don't like. Two gripes actually. One, the stock windshield is horrendous. In fact, you know, for a bike that costs this kind of money, this thing, that's normal. I thought maybe the dealer left some screws out or something, because it just rattles and wiggles around, but no, that's supposedly normal. So, you know, that's pretty chintzy. That makes a nice bike feel cheap. So I have a touring windscreen coming. It's on order, and I know they come with, like, you can buy a stabilizer bar and that gets rid of that, but I think BMW could definitely do better than that, as far as the windshield. The other thing I don't like about this bike is the fact that of course it has tire pressure monitors on it, and that's cool, that's good, except for the fact that you cannot change the range of when the bike thinks, you know, your tires are too low. And I run typically pretty low pressure. I usually, on my other bikes, big bikes, I'd run like 29 in the front, maybe 31 in the rear. And if I'm doing hard off-road, I'll even go lower than that. And this bike, if you run them at 30 and 30, let's say, you know, it'll, like, you can see it has the orange light telling me my rear tire's low. And then if I were to run a little lower, then it has red flashing lights, and throws up errors telling you got to pull over immediately, you're going to crash. And there's no way to change that. So if you want to run low pressure, you're going to have to deal with the flashing lights. So it's kind of annoying, because no one likes to look at flashing warning lights. But other than that, really, that's really my only gripe about this bike. This is it's a unique bike. It's super nice. It's very nice and comfortable to ride on the street. It's surprisingly fast, and well, we'll just go for a cruise. And if anybody in the comments, anybody watching this video that's more knowledgeable about BMWs than me, and they know a workaround for that tire pressure sensor thing, I sure would appreciate it, because I think today I'm running like 29 in the front tire and I think 34 in the rear, and it's still telling me my rear tire is too low. But hopefully I probably won't talk too much while I'm riding, because you probably won't be able to hear because of the wind, and I don't have a mic on this phone, on this helmet setup. And I'm riding the bike in Enduro Pro mode. This bike just feels like you could do a ton of miles on roads like this. It just feels very secure and stable, comfortable. Your knees, you know, go right up against the seat, so it can be something nice to push into. The KTM, the 890, on this same type of terrain, is more exciting to ride, for sharper. The motor is just more aggressive. It kind of just begs you to be a hoodlum. Where this bike kind of begs you not to be a hoodlum. You know, you can go fast on it. There's no problem with that, and it's comfortable. But it doesn't give you that feeling like, oh, you should try to ride a wheelie here. You should jump that. It just doesn't have that kind of vibe. Immediately. Stop immediately. You're gonna die. Your tires are not pumped up to 45. Manufacturers keep taking more and more control away from us humans. Not allowed to set your tire pressure where you want it. Every bike has to have ABS. Electronics are taking over, which, you know, I like, you know, some electronics. Definitely make it easier and safer to ride, but you should be able to disengage them or modify them to your skill level and your terrain and how you want to ride. But that's an argument that'll not be won. So like, I had a close call right here on this section of road a couple times ago when I rode this. You know, again, we were going fairly quick, and it came around a corner, and there was a truck, not a small truck either, and he was also going fairly quick. You know, that was a scary moment. So, you know, as I age and have more and more close calls under my belt, I find myself riding slower and more cautiously than I used to, for sure. Because I've had a few accidents, luckily nothing too bad, and I've had, you know, a few close calls that I was, you know, lucky and blessed to get away from. So now, you know, still like to, you know, have fun for sure, get a little rowdy, but I picked my times to get rowdy. Where it used to be, you know, you ride hard, ride dangerous, like kind of all the time, take risk all the time. Pretty high consequence. Now I take risk, but I try to manage the risk the best I can. And I look back on, you know, maybe 10 years ago riding, and I remember me and my buddies, you know, we'd go around blind corners, you know, very quickly, and just trusting that the road would stay the same, and trusting that there would be nothing on the other side. And I look back and I'm like, man, that was a lot of fun, but highly, highly dangerous. This is when gas range start getting range anxiety, since I've never been on this road and I don't know where it goes, and gas stations are not that plentiful in New Mexico anyway. I mean, look at how big that land is. You see any gas stations out there? And I'm at 94 miles right now, and see here, I got 68 miles left of range. It's probably a good time to head back to civilization. Yeah, damn, I want to see where this road pops out at, but I didn't have a completely full tank when I came out here because I wasn't planning on doing this road. See what I mean about this bike? I'm in third gear doing 15 miles an hour, no clutch, no gas. Going, I don't know, it's idling in third gear at 1200 RPM. And you just roll on the gas, it's no problem. You can definitely ride this bike very lazy if you choose to. Alright, so I stopped out here and had a little lunch break, and I got 65 miles more of gas, so definitely have to head back because I'm about 105 miles into the ride right now. So hopefully we can get back to civilization and get some fuel. I turned around when I did. We're almost back into town, almost to a gas station, and it says I'm going to run out of gas in 22 miles. So that was, I never really push it with fuel like that. But we explored some roads that I was not familiar with today. It's all good. And my tank wasn't full. It was like 3/4 of full when I started today.